Hi, I love Lampwork beads, don't you? This is Kathryn with Handmade by circleartdesigns. Today on my work table, I will be working on a lampwork bead and leather necklace with some matching earrings. This is the first project in March, and it is also a February Bargain Bead Box project. So let's turn our eyes to the mat and get started. Well, as I turn my eyes to the mat today on the work table, I see my mat that says Simply Grateful. I don't have a video for this yet, only the picture, but I will get one recorded. So, as I am thinking about this and looking at the beautiful spring flowers that I hope will be starting to bloom, actually, they have on one of my trees. But I am simply grateful that we are moving on towards the beginning of spring. My little plum tree, it's a Japanese plum, and it has started blooming with the most beautiful pinky cream flowers you've ever seen. No leaves yet, but beautiful flowers. And what a joy it is to behold. I am simply grateful to my Lord that He gave us all these wonderful colors. And one of the ways we get to work with wonderful colors is through making beautiful things with beads. So what are you simply grateful for today? Have you had anything bloom in your area? I would love to hear about it. All right, let's go ahead and gather up our things. So I've got my mat down, I've got my pen in the center, I've moved my camera a little bit. I'm hoping this helps. We'll see. Anyway, so the first thing we have is this beautiful 41 millimeter Lampwork glass fleckled oval focal bead. Wow, that's a mouthful. And azure skies. I hope I said that right. But I love this lampwork bead. It is gorgeous. And the next up on the mat is also from the February Bargain Bead Box. This is a 30 by 27 millimeter floral pendant, and I love this. It's really pretty. I haven't seen anything like it. And then I have some of these star bead caps. This is from a previous Bargain Bead Box, and I think they will just fit perfectly over the ends of that lampwork bead. I am hoping so. And then, let's see, let's pull these down where you can see them, maybe. Oh, I thought I would get the sack. All right, well, let's see if I can get that sack in line. Oh, there it goes. This is a 8.5 by 8 millimeter crystal faceted barrel beads, and this is in a frosted mint green with an AB finish. Now, I love these, and I think they came from the November Bargain Bead Box, but I did not mark them. And as I was digging around in my bicones, I found these. These are matte finish, and they are in like a powder blue. And if you have looked at those sacks for very long, you will know that those little plastic bags are from Bargain Bead Box from about 1.5 to 2 years ago. But I keep everything, and I eventually use it. I'm also pulling some of my endings for my leather, and we will be gluing those onto the ends of the suede leather cording. And let's see, what else do I have? Oh yes, from a previous Bargain Bead Box, we will be using these corrugated spacer balls. I would say these are 3 to 4 millimeter or 4 by 3 millimeter, and they're in an antique silver. I'm going to put those out. I'm not going to use very many of them, but I like to put lots of things out on my mat and then play with it. Are you like that? Now, these are mine. These are faceted lampwork glass. I bought these from a little shop out of town, and they had just a whole little glass of them, and I love these, and I've been saving them for a special project. And no, I didn't use all of them. And I also have, this is a small silver chain that I got, metal chain that I got from Hobby Lobby, and that was my suede cord, and it came from Amazon in a pack of 4 different colors, and I really like it. So in fact, I love to work with leather. I don't get to very often, but I absolutely love it. And I have some leather dangle earrings that will be coming up sometime during this next month. All right, I think I have everything ready. Let's get started. Oh, I didn't have everything ready. I'm also going to need some of this artistic wire in a 20 gauge. And the reason I'm doing this is not because I don't have eye pins or head pins, but it's because I want everything to match. And I am using a lot of different eye pins and head pins for this. And I want to make sure the colors match, the tones match. And so I'm going to go ahead and make my own. I will be cutting off several links. I like to cut off a little bit of it and work with it and then cut off a little more. I know people that can use it on the spool. I'm not one of those. I wish I was, but I'm not. My hands shake too bad. I drop it and I make a real big mess. So I've straightened out just the end that I'm going to use, and I'm going to use my 1.25 loopers for this. I'm cutting off about a 2-inch piece of metal, of the 20 gauge wire, and then I'm going to cut the same length all the way down till I've got all of them that this piece that I've cut off will do. So let's go ahead and move it on down, straighten it out, and get this cut and ready to go in the looper. If you don't have a looper for this project, that's okay. It just makes it easier for me. You can use your straight nose pliers. You can use a bell plier if you have one of those. Anything to make that loop and make it consistently the same size. But like I said, I am going to be using my looper. Someone asked me about that the other day. I personally picked up my looper from Hobby Lobby, this one right here, and it is in a 1.25, and they also have one in a 2.25 that I use, but not as much as I use this one because it comes the closest to matching the loops on eye pins that are already made when you need a loop on both ends. All right, you put it across the jaws. I am not moving it all the way to the hole because I want to save wire. Then you mash it together and it should make, a little loop. And I'm going to do that to all of those. And when I get that done, I will meet you back here. So I made 6 of these little eye pins, and now I'm taking my straight nose pliers and making sure that they are closed and that they are straight over the top. The looper is a wonderful thing, but just like when you buy eye pins and the loops are not completely closed, when you use a looper, a lot of times the loop is not completely closed. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just checking them, and now we are ready to go to the next step. Let me get all these little pieces done. Now, when you're cutting with a looper or wire cutters, anything like that, make sure you always turn the piece that's going to be cut off into your mat. You don't want anything flying up into your face or somebody else's face. All right, I'm setting out here what I'm working out the pattern. Like I said, it's like painting. You put out a palette and then you look at it. Okay, I've put out that palette and I didn't like it. I'll tell you, I'm not going to use the little beads for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting a bicone, a barrel bead, and a bicone, and that will be 1 unit. Then my next unit will be a bicone, that lampwork bead and another bicone. And I think that I'll have 2 components for the chain area of this. So we're going to pick up our handmade eye pin, put on our bicone, then our barrel bead, and another bicone. And now I'm going to go ahead, if I can get that there, just like that. Since I'm not making a wrapped bead, because I'm going to be using this with the chain, I will not be using my straight nose pliers. I will be using my looper. So on component 2, again, we're going to do a bicone, that lampwork bead, and a bicone. Isn't that pretty? And look how the two greens match. And I bought these at least 12 months apart, and they've been sitting in my, 12 months from the blue ones, not 12 months from the ones from Bargain Bead Box. So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 of the barrel bead ones, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So let's see here. This will be the pattern. I'm trying to decide if I like barrel bead, lampwork bead, barrel bead. And I tell you, when I made these components, I decided that I wanted to do barrel bead, lampwork bead, barrel bead, lampwork bead, barrel bead. That would be component 1, component 2, component 1, and component 2. That gives you a total, let's see here if we can get that up there. Oop, put it on the other side, Kathryn. That gives you a total of 5 on each side. And I put the necklace together that way, and I will show it to you when we get to that point. But the finished product, I went with my gut for when I was designing this the first time, and I just did barrel bead, lampwork, and barrel bead. For me, it was just too much going on. It just looked cluttered, and I hate clutter. Now, I'm a cluttery person. If you came to my house, you would go, my goodness, this woman is a slob. But I can't have clutter in my jewelry. I just can't. All right, I've used my looper, and I will talk you through that when we do the next one. Okay, we're going to pick up this component 2. We're going to put it all the way across the jaws into that little hole right there. We're going to butt that bicone right up against the edge. We're going to mash it down, and I broke my rule. And you're going to take it off. You're going to check this, and you're going to go ahead and make sure that that circle is closed. Now, this is the trick with closing that circle. When you're doing these kind of components, you want it to be as little room as possible between the last bead and the circle. But the other thing you want, and that's what I'm fiddling with, is you want that to close but sit right over the middle of the bead, so your bead doesn't hang from one side or the other, because if it's messed up, it will. But through the magic of the video, I have all 10 of these done. That is 6 of the barrel beads and 4 of the lampwork beads. And now we're going to take out this beautiful lampwork bead from the February Bargain Bead Box. Now, I tell you, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, all I know to do with this is to make a pendant with a tassel on the end. And then the more I held it and touched it and moved it around, I thought, oh, this would be a gorgeous cross piece. And that's what I'm doing. I have taken a 4-inch strip of 20 gauge. I have put on my bead cap. I've put on my corrugated spacer ball bead cap course. All right, let me start this over. So now that my mouth is caught up with my thoughts, it is a corrugated spacer ball, your bead cap, your lampwork bead, a bead cap, and your corrugated spacer ball. Now, I could have gone ahead and done my looper first, but I didn't, so I'm having to be very careful. This is my 2.25 looper, and it makes a bigger hole, as I said, and I'm going to need it for this. I closed it up. Then I'm going to go over to the other side, and you use this one the same way as the other. Make sure you get it through the hole on the far side. Put it right up against the jaws, and then close it up. Just be careful not to get it so close to the jaws that you crack your bead. Now, isn't that pretty? I love that. That is just so pretty. If I'd had 2 of them, I would have put them on either side of a necklace. But as it is, I'm going to use it as the focal. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to put this beautiful silver flower pendant. It looks like a lace. It reminds me of my grandmother's doilies. And we're going to hang it from either side, just like this. Now, if I had a small enough cord, I would just move it through, but I don't. If you were using maybe a waxed cord or very thin leather, you could do that for this pendant. But I'm using the silver chain to tie in that silver pendant with the lampwork bead. What a gorgeous bead. Wouldn't that be amazing if it was like a blue leopard? Wouldn't that be awesome? That's what it reminded me of whenever I saw it. So here I'm going, is there any way I can make that work? And there's not. There's just, I tried to see if it would go through the little hole, and it wouldn't. And my daughters came through and she says, "What are you doing, Mom?" And I said, "Well, I'm messing with this to see if there's some way I can put something in the middle." She said, "The middle is cut out to be aesthetically pleasing, Mother. Leave it alone." So that's what I did. So decide how long you want your pendant to hang from your lampwork bead. You can make it longer than I did, but you can't make it too much longer because it will warp it to one side. Then when you get your piece measured out, take your snippers just like I'm doing, turn it down and cut it. And then I would measure, if it was me, instead of counting all those little loops, I would measure one against the other. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm moving it up so it's not all mashed together. I'm going to see how far it's going to go. And then I'm going to pick up the loop just after the loop that I cut. So I can cut that one. Again, just like that, I'm moving that in. I'm going to grab it with those. I'm going to put my fingers over it and snip it, and there it is. All right. So now I have 2 pieces to go with, and I'm really pleased with that. All right, let's see. And so now I've put it on, and we're going to put this on with jump rings. So I've dumped a little bag of jump rings I got from Fire Mountain here in one of their dollar sales, and I pulled out the littlest ones there. I'm going to use my chain nose pliers that have a little bit of grip to the teeth, and then I've opened it up, and I'm going to go ahead and put on my chain. I'm trying to match the chain in the size of the jump ring, and then my lampwork bead, and with the gentle rocking, I'm going to close it. I'm going to feel it, make sure it's smooth. Remember, always touch it. Sometimes I forget, but if you touch it and it's rough, it's not really closed. These jump rings have already come open, so I'm putting some more. Again, I'm putting on the component and the chain, and I'm going to gently rock one side of that jump ring closed. Don't twist it from both sides because it makes a weak point in the middle, and it can be really bad news. All right, now that I have got the chain on both sides of that lampwork bead, again, I'm using the smallest of the jump rings out of that Fire Mountain group, and they sell it on and off throughout the year, and it's a whole group of different sizes of jump rings. I really love them. I usually would use them all before the next sale comes. But anyway, so I've put on the jump ring, I've put on my flower pendant, and I'm going to gently rock that closed. Feel it to make sure it's really closed. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the next side. Now, isn't that beginning to look so pretty? I love this necklace. If it makes it up to the store for the drop later on this month, it will be a miracle. I have a feeling this one is destined for my own collection, unless my daughter talks me out of it. Okay, again, with a gentle rock, you're going to open that up. Well, that wasn't a gentle rock. I slipped. I should have used the ones with the little teeth to open it up, but I didn't, so I slipped. But that's okay. It opened up and it's not ruined. But I have to get that chain on there, just like that. Maybe just like that. With these little bitty jump rings and the type of chain nose pliers I have to position them a lot to just barely be holding on to it with the very first teeth in order to have enough space to get that on. Let me try this one more time. All right, I have repositioned this and I got it on. I just had to hold it with the first little tooth of those pliers in order to get it on. Then I'm going to slip that on just like that. And then I'm going to rock it closed. Yeah, just like that. And let's feel it and see if it's really closed. I'm looking at it. Oh, I can tell. All right, there you go. And we have got this piece ready for the next step. Now I want you to look at this pendant. Isn't that pretty? Now that big lampwork bead will be the center of the lampwork and leather necklace. So let's see. I've got these laid out. I'm spreading out the jump rings I have left from this last time I bought these from Fire Mountain. And I am sorry, I think you're in the picture, but what I'm doing is I am putting different size jump rings up to decide which one I want to go with. I have another one from Fire Mountain that are just the largest of these. And I may have to go with those because I have really used a lot of these jump rings. I know it looks like I still have a lot on my mat, but I have been using these for about a year on and off. And I have really, I'm counting them. Do I have enough? Do I have enough? Maybe I have enough. Do you ever do that? You go, oh, I don't want to go get anything else out, but I didn't have enough. So this is the other size that they had on sale the last time, and they have these all the time. Again, this is from Fire Mountain. I really love their jump rings. With a twist of the wrist, I'm using these large ones, and I decided I want it to be a focal piece. Therefore, I am making a chain out of my component 1, the large jump ring, and my component 2. And I won't have to cut any of the little chain to put it together. Now, I love using little bitty chain to make a different chain, but I also love it when I make chain out of something that is not chain. I have a video up on how to use peanut links. That's when it's chain and not a chain. And it's about a bracelet that I use putting those together. I will try to put the link down in the description. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. We're joining each one of these components with a large jump ring, making the jump ring part of the chain, instead of just something to hold the chain together. And this is going to be really pretty. Now, as I said at the beginning, when I first did this, I completed the necklace and I used barrel bead, lampwork round, barrel bead, lampwork round, and barrel bead. And I'm going to do that on both sides. But when you see the pictures, you will discover that some of it is missing. And that's because when I put it on, for me, the pendant was too far down. I wanted a long necklace, but as I told my daughter, I did not want it touching my belly button. Just not that kind of person. So I took 2 off and I use those components when we do the earrings. But let me go ahead and put this together and I will show you the finished product before we do the next step. So I thought I'd go ahead and show you this photo. I have gone ahead and put the 3 barrel beads with the 2 lampwork beads in between them for the left side, and I've started the process for the right side. So it will be barrel bead, large jump ring, lampwork bead, large jump ring, barrel bead, large jump ring, lampwork bead, large jump ring, barrel bead. So you will have a total of this particular design of 5 on each side, 3 barrel beads and 2 lampwork beads. Now you can go ahead and clip pieces of the chain you used and use small jump rings if you want to do that to join and make your beaded chain. But I really love doing the unexpected, and making chain out of something that is not chain is just a wonderful twist on the creative process. And would you please like and comment on this video and consider sharing it with your friends? And if you haven't already, would you subscribe to our channel? And don't forget to click the notification button so you will be notified when we put up new content. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Okay, the next step we're going to do is we're going to take those little ends for our suede leather, and I'm going to go ahead and take a length of the suede leather. I wanted a 30-inch necklace. I went with a 27-inch necklace, but for that, after I finished cutting everything, I needed 12 inches, so that's what I've cut. Now, I have this Gorilla Glue, and it's being very generous. I've never seen it come out so fast. Boy, I was just taking the Gorilla Glue off. I always take something, a scrap of metal or something. I'm going to go ahead and hold this with my curved nose pliers because I have a condition with my fingers. And when I get this stuff on it, that's the reason I had to quit using UV resin. Even with gloves on, I broke out. So I filled it up, the little tube up, and I've gone ahead and put in my suede leather, and then I'm going to move it to the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing where I put in some of the Gorilla Glue. I'm making sure I haven't got this thing twisted because I have glued ends on with a big knot in the center, and I had to throw the whole thing away and start again. This is awful. It depends on how distracted I am when I get to this stage. So again, I'm filling up the little hole with the Gorilla Glue. I'm going to need a little more. I was so generous with the first one, I got kind of afraid with the second one. But and I have seen people that put a mixture of Gorilla Glue and super glue in these. They say the super glue dries right away and then it holds. I have never tried to do that. I am afraid my hands shake too much, and I would super glue my fingertips together. There you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this set for 24 hours so that it is completely dry. It usually sets up in about 15 minutes so you can work on it, but I will pick this up in the morning. In fact, it is morning because we just zoomed right on by, and I am ready to do this. All right. So I'm laying my pieces out. I've got both sides of my chain, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it on with the large jump rings, just like I've been using before. Now, there is a problem with this. I do not know if you will have the same problem, but the problem I have, and I'm almost sure you will have if you follow me, is that when you are doing 2 components with a jump ring, each component has to lay in the same plane if you want your jump ring to lay flat. And I had a problem with this. So let me get you a picture. Now we're going to start with the jump ring in the blue bicone in component number 1 that is at the top of the left side of your screen. Now, if you look at the component itself, the component has a vertical loop. The jump ring we want to lay horizontal. When I put the jump ring directly on that large jump ring directly onto the component and the pendant lampwork bead, both of the components had a vertical circle. I'm sorry, one had a vertical and one had a horizontal, so that they wouldn't lay correctly. So this is what I did. I took the large jump ring off of the pendant. Then I got the small jump rings that I had used to join the chain to the pendant, and joined the pendant to the jump ring with the small jump ring. And this made it lay flat. If you can put your large jump ring on your pendant, and when you put it around your neck, that large jump ring lays flat, and all the jump rings going up lay flat, then you've done it right. If you put it on and one of the jump rings starts to lift up and turn at the pendant, then you know you need to add a small jump ring to the large jump ring for the pendant, because they have to be in the same plane. This is the way I made it in the same plane. The lampwork pendant had a horizontal laying circle. The jump ring, the large jump ring, was a horizontal circle. Component 1 with the beading was a vertical, so I needed to get the pendant to have a vertical jump ring, like component 1 had a vertical loop, so that my large jump ring would lay flat. I hope that helps. So this is my first try. I'm laying this down. I think at first it's going to lay flat, but watch when I pull it up. Did you see how that jump ring, the large one, just popped straight up? That showed me I needed to add another jump ring on the pendant section so that that would lay down when it was laying on your neck. Okay? And that's how I told. I should say, and that's how I knew. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to fix this thing, and then I will show you pictures. So here are some more pictures I have that will give you a good idea of what I did to fix that problem, because I did not want it jumping up. And so it really is just a small little jump ring I put at the bottom that fixed this chain, just like that. And we're ready to go to the next step. Now this is the final step in this one. I'm checking the ends to make sure that they're nice and tight on there. I'm going to straighten out my chain to make sure all the links in this chain are the right direction, and see how pretty and flat they look. I'm going to go ahead and lay out my large jump rings. I'm going ahead and still go with the same ones because I really do want this to look like a chain. My component has a vertical loop. My leather has a vertical loop, and I'm going to close this up with the rock of 1. That's not closed, Kathryn. I can see that from here. Sometimes it takes me a little bit, but just like that. And that is closed. Now you might say, but this is setting up on its end. That's correct. This leather, this suede leather-like strip like this, will set up on its side. It will not lie flat because you have it coming off the back of your neck. So instead of yanking on it the whole time you're wearing it, it's just better to go with the flow. Know this is going to set up on its side when it comes off the back of your neck. And it's beautiful, and it won't matter. Because when it does this and both sides do it, people know that you did it on purpose. And you can honestly say, yes, I did that exactly on purpose. If you want it to lay flat, you really need to use a round cord. And this is the finished necklace Now, isn't that beautiful? Now, look there. Those are with 10 of the beads. And this is gorgeous. But my choice was to cut off my leather and put a clasp, or to take some of the beads out. So I tried it on, and I personally thought it is better for me if I only had the 6 beads like I originally started with, and not the 10. And so when you see the finished product, it will be short. And why? Because I am using these little pieces that I took off right here to make the earrings. So if you've already made these components, you even have a jump ring for it. Go ahead, and we are taking that jump ring and closing it up just like that to make sure it is. And then on the top, you will end up having your ear wire. So again, I'm looking to make sure that's closed, because I did take it off of the necklace, and I took it off at the bottom so I wouldn't have to mess with the things that were already in place. So now I have 2 exact things for the matching earrings. Oh, and I'm wearing an illusion bracelet. I also have a DIY up for that. You should go look for it. It was lots of fun, and I'm making some more of them. So now I have an eye pin in this component, and it needs a second dangle. So this will be a 3-step dangle earring. I'm going to go ahead and I put it on a 24 gauge wire. I move it back away from me. I'm going to turn my straight nose. I'm going to go ahead and bring it all the way down, touching my bead. I'm going to turn them again so that it's hanging from the bottom. Adjust my wrist just like that, and I'm going to pull it to the back. But I am going to use even though it's 24 gauge, my hands are tired. And so I'm going to go ahead and use my chain nose. You want to do this in 3 complete wraps on this 24 gauge. It's little, it's thin, and I like to be careful. And I'm trying real hard to do a nice wrap to this. Usually I just go wrap, 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 and you go, okay, it's done. It's a messy wrap. It's supposed to be a messy wrap. But for these, I am trying to go ahead and make sure that one goes right underneath the next one. And so there's one of them, and then I'm going to do another one. And I am going to be using very small oval jump rings for this, because I don't want any more length than I have to have. So now I've got 2 of them, and we need to have these little oval jump rings. These are the teeniest little jump rings I've ever seen. I think they're like 2 millimeter. They may be 3, a 3x2, but they are little. And I really have to be careful with these. Between 2 chain nose pliers or a chain and a curve, just turn and open one side. Go ahead and put on the heavier component. I'm sorry, my hands have fallen off. I must have hit the camera on that little stand. Oh, come on, up, up, up. And then once I get both of those on, because there's no front or back on these, it looks beautiful from either. I'm making sure that it's closed, and I've got a 3-step dangle earring right there. Isn't that pretty? I just love that. I'm going to do the same thing to the other one, and then I am going to choose my ear wires. So let's go ahead and let's turn that around see how little it is in my hand? I have magnifiers on, and it's little. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to put on my component first, the bigger of the 2 you're putting together, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put on that teeny little wrapped bead, and I did use the bicones from the necklace. So these will be a perfect match. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I just love that. Now I'm going to go and get a slightly bigger one. This is probably a 3x4. Don't quote me on that. I bought these from Amazon. They just tell you an assortment, and it's anybody's guess. But I love these, and I've used them a lot. I have bought it twice. Again, a twist of one wrist. I'm opening it up. Now this is where I came into some trouble. Do you see where the Let's see if I catch. Oh, no, it's going to be okay. So the earring and the component and the ear wire have to be in the same plane. And I cannot remember if I had to do something or not. I think I did. Let's see here. Alrighty. Okay. And then we're going to do it again. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking about the ribbons that I made earlier. That is also something that's coming up this month. All right, there. And we're going to put this on just like that, and we're going to give it a look. I love lever backs, but lever backs are like my clips because I use clips. And if your earring doesn't just happen to fit exactly right, you have an issue. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and get this out into focus so we can show what we have been doing here. And I did go ahead and use the lever backs because the components were both on the vertical and the other ended up being on the horizon, or vice versa. I can't remember now, but it did work. Just remember to be aware of that when you're making your own jewelry. Always, when you're joining two components that you want to face to the front with a jump ring, or face to the side, it doesn't matter, wherever you want it to face. If you want it to lay flat, your components have to be in the same plane and your jump ring in the opposite. So here's the necklace. Isn't that pretty? I just love this set. I really do. They are just gorgeous. And I love that chain. What a statement piece that makes whenever you make those large jump rings, the chain. That's really beautiful. I love this. All right, let's get ready. Oh, and the earrings. We can't forget to show the earrings. And so this is what the earrings look like. And here again is the set. Isn't that pretty? I hope if you haven't used this bead yet and you have it, or if you go and get a similar one, that you make this beautiful necklace. It has such a bohemian feel to it, and that glass is amazing. You know, Lampwork glass is why I started making jewelry. It is truly in my heart. It makes me so happy. Thank you again for joining me today. I hope you had a lot of fun. I hope you laughed and enjoyed it. And I hope you have an amazing beading adventure of your own. And don't forget to go out, look and see what's blooming in your area, and be inspired by the colors that are blooming all around you. God bless you. God keep you safe. And I'll see you later in the week. Kathryn, Handmade by Circle Art Designs. Check out circleartdesigns.net, y'all. God bless.